start checklist is included in your kneeboard documentation, along with the mission card for this flight, which can be accessed with the assigned key binds. All flights from this point forward will include kneeboard documents with any relevant information you need, so you can always refer to either the mission briefing or your kneeboard as references. Until we complete the navigation check ride, though, I'll include visual cues for the process so you can get used to the order of things.
Roll left, roll left. Flight controls, flight controls.
Awesome! Now that we're all ready to go, let's get our navigation set up. Using your preferred MDI, press the menu push button until you're on the support page, then press the HSI push button. On the right side, press the waypoint push button to activate waypoint navigation, press the up arrow button to set waypoint 1, then press the sequence 1 push button to activate the flight plan. On the bottom left of the UFC, press the COM1 channel selector knob, then type in a frequency of 113.000 and press enter so you can monitor the frequency. You won't need to make any radio calls, as I'll be taking care of that on another channel, but we need to get you into the habit of setting up your comms. Slowly add throttle to get the aircraft moving and make a left turn onto the taxiway by using rudder controls. If the aircraft isn't turning fast enough, you can either reduce speed or hold down the nose wheel steering key bind to increase your turn rate on the ground. Take your time while moving down the taxiway. Make small throttle adjustments to keep your aircraft moving, while also making left and right rudder adjustments to keep your aircraft centered on the taxiway centerline. You're approaching the entrance to the active runway. Start slowing down using the brakes and follow the taxiway centerline as it curves toward the runway using the rudder controls. Bring the aircraft to a stop just before the runway threshold, marked by the horizontal white line. Come to a stop here. Double check that you've activated waypoint navigation on your HSI, that sequence 1 is activated, and that you've selected waypoint 1 as your active waypoint. We're ready for takeoff. Activate the brakes to hold the aircraft in position while advancing the throttle to full mill power. Once the aircraft's engines overcome the brakes and it begins moving forward, release the brakes and do your best to use the rudder to keep the aircraft centered on the runway centerline. At 80 knots, disable the nose wheel steering by using the appropriate keybind to reduce oversteering as we increase our speed. Assuming the takeoff trim has been set correctly, the aircraft will about a third of the way to Bazian, and it's time to start thinking about how we're going to get this bird safely on the ground. Fortunately, the Hornet includes a feature that makes this incredibly easy. The Hornet is designed to land on aircraft carriers, which requires an extremely robust landing gear due to the fact that the aircraft needs to plant itself onto the carrier deck in order to catch the arresting wire and stop before it plunges off the side into the ocean. Because of this, the standard landing procedure does not require the flare typical of landing most other aircraft, so the Hornet pretty much just flies straight into the ground to land safely, assuming you have the aircraft at the proper angle and speed. To ensure that the aircraft is at the correct angle and speed, a new indication will appear on the HUD called the E-bracket once the landing gear is lowered. As the name suggests, it's a large E-shaped icon that appears on the left side of the HUD when the aircraft is configured for landing. To get you familiarized with the proper use of the E-bracket, let's disable the VL of the autopilot, slow down to less than 250 knots, then drop the landing gear and lower the flaps to full. Do your best to control the aircraft as the surfaces change, holding an altitude of about 10,000 feet and reducing your airspeed to about 170 knots. As the aircraft settles down, begin making down until you can make a safe turn off the runway to one of the taxiway entrances to the left. Taxi over to parking spot 1. You can locate it by accessing the F10 map and referencing it to your current location. Once there, execute the shutdown procedure. The lesson will be complete once the aircraft is parked in spot 1 and